much for joining us on our pathway to peace in the Garden of Peace. If you're following along, we're on page 260. Today's lesson is called Deeply Disturbed. Yes, many men actually are. Therefore, Hashem commanded us to dwell with our own special woman for one whole interrupted year from the time that we marry her. We talked about last time how the beginning is so important, not only for marriage, as Joey pointed out, thank you for listening and watching always, but also everything in life. We talked about when a baby's born, the critical stages of the embryonic development, when every single cell, if God forbid something gets damaged, can affect the whole life in a crazy dramatic way. But if you're older and you get a paper cut, no big deal, it'll heal, very quickly. But even in relationships in your work or ventures that you're starting out with, everything, that rocky road, if the beginning is so much smoother and goes well, that foundation can build castles and mansions upon it instead of crumbling down. Through this, we become accustomed to her, to our wife, to attach our desires to what she really wants, to imprint her image and her deeds onto our heart and make her wills and her wants ours. Then you're working as a team and you're not going to be fighting against her. By the end of this first year, it becomes natural for us to look upon other women and their deeds as something foreign to us and strange to us. In this way, a man will be kept away from other strange women and turn his thoughts to this woman who is right in front of him instead of thinking and looking and desiring and imagining and fantasizing about everybody else. The children that she bears him will be kosher and amazing, upright and brilliant in the Torah ways and be pleasing to Hashem. In that first year, the couple shouldn't even host many guests. It's a great mitzvah to have people over and to do hachnesas archim, to invite people in, to teach them about Judaism, to show them what a great light it can actually be. But that first year, don't let that interrupt your strong bond that is forging. They should certainly not entertain other young couples, because that will lead to comparisons between husbands and wives, something that could seriously disturb their fragile relationship.
You get invited. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
Like people invite you as couples.
I'm saying the first year
You shouldn't go anywhere.
that they're married,
You should always be home.
limit your relationship to your wife and you.
Right.
Your family, fine, whatever, but I'm saying other young couples or other people,
If they invite you, don't go that first year.
say, listen, I want to focus on my wife for now. We want to develop our bond, enhance our relationship, and once we're solid, amazing.
Tell them all that.
But if your wife is requesting it, different story. Then maybe say, Hashem, maybe, something's a little wrong here. If she's looking elsewhere, maybe my mind is looking elsewhere. What's the message that you're showing me right now? Because I can pray to you that, listen, I don't want to be tested like that. I know I'm fresh. We're new. This whole relationship, the physicality, everything that's going on, you don't want that to be stolen away from you. You don't want to be pulling your eyes in another direction, because that'll screw up the whole marriage for later. Get rock solid from everything you do from the beginning, moving forward. Some tips for a newlywed husband: pick up the telephone, get your cell phone, send a text message, something at least once a day. Ask your wife how she's feeling, that you're thinking about her, that your whole life is revolving around her. It's never been the same since you were married, and every single day you can't stop thinking about her and you love her tremendously. At least in the first year of marriage. Doing this will show her that she's cared for, that she's thought about, and will make her feel tremendously happy. Rabbi Ben Zion, Abba Shaul of blessed memory, said that in the first year of marriage, a husband should always bring some sort of present when he comes home.
Every day?
Every day! Every day. Even if it's a small sweet that his wife likes. It could be a lollipop.
Oh, man.
It could be a box of chocolates. It could be a single
Fail that one.
flower. It could be a bouquet of roses. It could be anything in the world. It could be a candy, a sucking
I
candy.
come home every day. I am the present.
My presence is her presence. And she better know that or we're going to beat it into her. Got it?
Yes.
It can be small. It could be a note that you write her. It doesn't have to be an extravagant, expensive gift. just something that shows that you care about her, that you're thinking about her. It's an amazing way to start your marriage. With this, he fulfills the positive commandment to cheer the wife up that he has taken. If somebody angered you, or you're worried about something, or you have some stress in your life, or you have these weight on your shoulders, do not take it home with you. Leave it at the door. Check it. You know, when you go to a wedding, check your coat. That's the guy you check
your baggage.
Your baggage at the door. Exactly. If you do not do that, all that anger, all that rage, all that frustration, all that worry is going to be reflected and eaten up by your wife. Rather, take a few moments to collect yourself outside, leave it in the boxing ring, leave it in the forest, leave it in your car, wherever you can express it and get it off your chest. You can especially even pray to Hashem about it. And not only about those problems, but pray to Hashem to help you leave the problems outside your home. Please, God, help me not to bring it in and dump it on her. And you walk in with a huge smile plastered on your face. These are good practices to keep, not only the first year, but the whole time you are married with a wife in your life. Not to create that terrible strife. Know the difference. The Talmud states, women are a different nation. Gemara says, but hey, every psychology book that you ever pick up, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's not just a different planet. It's probably a different galaxy, a different multiverse that they're living in that is completely strange to you. Don't ever think that you're going to understand your wife. Because if you do, then she'll do something that is completely unexpected, even within the framework of what was normal for her. Even though that normal is not normal. True story. Women have a different character trait than men. They want different things than we want. Do not think that what makes you happy is going to make her happy. Absolutely. You're right, 100%. Men who do not appreciate this relative to their wives as they do to other men, they're going to be so sadly mistaken.
You can tell by the way that they wear clothes. Like, oh, if it's like a summer day, they need this. If it's like a winter, cloudy day, they need this. Like,
forget the warm and cold. Colors
have to match with whatever's outside.
If I'm cold, I'm putting on a heavy coat.
Just the pants, warm, cold. That's it.
Hot, short, simple. Women, forget about it.
They're like,
no, this is a summery dress.
3 dresses for one day.
It could be the longest, thickest material. No, it's a summery dress. Look at the way it looks. The colors, the pattern. What are you kidding?
Made out of wool.
Who are you? What is going on? I don't even dare to ever get involved with my kids' dresses, my daughters. No way.
That age,
let them ask their mother what's appropriate for springtime. Thank you very much. It looks gorgeous. Yes, absolutely. Right on. One of my daughters, the second one, every single Shabbos, 7 different outfits.
Oh, man.
Whatever she comes down with, I know it's only 6 later that she's going to stick with it. And all those clothes end up on the floor, not back in the closet, on the bed. 7 different outfits. It doesn't matter. She's never going to be happy with the first one, even if she goes back to that for number 7.
Oh, man.
And she'll ask me, I'm like, no. I think you look great. Good, gorgeous. Leave it on. No. Now that you said that, I got to change.
Yeah,
forget it. If you forget
that's
it.
Even
when a wife makes a mistake, whether in the running of the home or the relationship with her husband, and her husband sees that she doesn't acknowledge a mistake, okay, you did something wrong. You realize you did something wrong. Admit it. Apologize, please. Like when I do something wrong, don't you want me to apologize? So can't you just do the same thing? What are 2 words, I'm sorry, meaning to you? Why is that a big deal? Just say it so we can move on. Understand it. Or he gets angry with her for making a mistake, or he gets angry because she made a mistake and now she's apologizing for it, thinking that she's the only one who behaves like this. Stop it for a minute. You know how many guys call me? I say, my wife is nuts. She is not in her right mind. She is not on this planet. I'm telling you, other women I can handle. But this one is crazy. She's not like all other women. I see the way that my friends act. I see the way that my friends' wives act. And, they might not be normal, but they're not crazy like my wife is. She's like disturbed. She's got a screw loose in her head. My wife is, you don't understand. My wife is, Eliezer, listen to me. I read your book. I read the book. I listened to your classes. I watched the videos. But it doesn't really apply to my wife because she's crazy. I can do all this, but she's nuts. And she's not going to respond that way. Shkayach. Very nice. I've heard this 10,000 times, over and over again, every single day. Every woman is a reflection and is going to act a certain way based on what you're doing. So if you want to start blaming her, stop, look at yourself first. Understand how can we act differently so that she'll respond differently. Pray to God that you want to understand what messages are supposed to come your way. If you're not getting it, then how the heck do you think your relationship is going to be fixed? It's all for a reason, for a purpose. Your wife is not more nuts than every other woman out there. It's just how you're relating to it and what God's using it to help you get to where you need to be. When Yosef was born, Rachel said in Genesis 30:23, God has gathered up my shame. The simple meaning is that Rachel no longer had to suffer the shame of not being able to have kids, of being barren. But Rashi, who's not a crazy Kabbalistic, right? This is interpretation of the text, right? So Rashi says there's another interpretation and the real intention behind this, because as long as a woman does not have a child, she has no one to lay the blame on for her mistakes.
What?
Rashi.
That's great.
Listen.
He says,
because once she has a son, now she can say, oh, you know why there's a mess in the kitchen? There we go. Look who did it. Yosef. His fault. He didn't clean up after it. Yeah, I left the milk out. No. He did it. When the husband comes home, what's going on? Why is this place a mess? Your kid, he went through the den, knocked over all the toys, pulled out every single book. No, he's the one who peed on the floor. It wasn't me when I lost my incontinence. Look, this kid. Now I have somebody to point to. When there was nobody else in the room, who could she say did it?
What's that light is like reflected towards
when her husband asked, who broke that plate? She says, your son. What are you talking about? He's running around knocking everything over in the kitchen. A wife's greatest need and hope is to be cherished by her husband. That's what she wants. That's what she craves. Therefore, a deep inner fear she has is not having that from her husband. The deepest problem she can have is not being fulfilled and loved by him. So this hidden fear will prevent her from admitting her mistakes and always want to lay the blame on somebody else. Because if she has to admit a mistake, then she's going to lose that love, lose that cherishedness from her husband if he sees her as faulty, if he sees her as the cause of problems. And she never wants that, because that'll destroy her. So the fact that her husband is not treating her in a way that'll make her feel special, if she's worried about the fact that she has to protect herself from blame, and of course the second she has a scapegoat in the house, that'll be her greatest happiness in her life. And that's what Rashi is saying. The interpretation of the pasuk is not to say that she was always just looking to blame Yosef, but it's a lesson for us nowadays to understand the living Torah. It's not just a history book. What can we learn from our lives from the Torah, from this story? For her, admitting to a fault is tantamount to admitting that she's blemished and she's undeserving of her husband's love. So all we need to do is show her that the giving, limitless in the giving of your love to her, to show her that nothing in the world is going to affect that you are caring for her no matter what, and she'll never have to want to have somebody in her life to blame because she's so cherished by you all the time. The need to feel cherished by their husbands is the reason why women cannot bear negative comments. That's why they can't have complaints from their husbands. The number one rule we have in our book is what? No comments, no criticisms. So until now we've been talking about the fact that why is that terrible? Because you're a shmagegi, you're a shmuck. You're not listening to Hashem. He's giving you a message. He's sending you a telegram. He's sending you an email and a text message through your wife to act a certain way. So the second you comment or criticize back to her, you're smacking God in the face and saying, get the heck out of my life. You're taking a fly swatter and swatting God. You're not realizing what is going on in your face. That's why you shouldn't comment and criticize. You're not taking it in. You're just flushing it back in her face. But now you're understanding that the reason a woman doesn't want to hear the comments or the woman doesn't hear criticisms is not just because you're the problem, but because her whole entity is based on the fact that she wants love and from her husband that is not going to be hindered by anything else. So if you're making a comment or criticizing, that destroys her being. That's corrupting her entity. She's going to have nothing left to stand on. So not only are you missing your message, but you're destroying your wife at the same time by it, because that's her whole makeup as a woman. Husbands who rebuke their wives and point out their mistakes and faults cause them untold suffering, because by doing so, they reinforce that wife's fear that she's not going to be cherished by her husband. So all you need to do is hold back, not make any negative comments, not make any negative criticisms. Show her every single day. It could be a little love note, or it could be a grand bouquet of flowers, or a diamond necklace, whatever it might be. You are my number one priority in my life. You are the love of my life. Everything I do in my life is trying to give you happiness. And if she feels that, she'll never have to question it. She'll never have to look elsewhere. She'll never have to fight back with you for no reasons. Your desire, your goal should be to make her happy and to understand why she's in your life and how to better yourself and your relationship with God by not putting any problems there in the first place. Just don't stab her, put the knife away, and look how you can build things up. So take the negativity away and pump pure positivity her way every single day. With that, have an awesome, amazing rest of your day. Thank you for joining.